Welcome to Tenacity with Sonia C., the podcast where entrepreneurs, founders, and ambitious professionals come to learn from those who have walked the path, navigating challenges and achieving success. Whether it's thriving in business, pivoting, scaling for growth, fundraising, or finding work life balance, dealing with loneliness, adversity, or overcoming personal struggles. Our guests share the insights and strategies that have empowered them to level up. I'm your host, Sonia, and let's get started. My guest today is Ceiwen Garcia, a powerhouse real estate entrepreneur, visionary founder, and community builder with a deep love for Kelowna and a bold belief in dreaming ridiculously big. With nearly 2 decades in the real estate industry, Ceiwen is known for her integrity, her innovative spirit, and her heart-led approach to both business and life. Beyond real estate, she's the founder of the Boss Network, a next generation space for women who are done playing small and ready to rise. Whether she's hosting dynamic networking events or mentoring the next wave of female founders, Ceiwen is creating rooms where everyone is seen, supported, and celebrated. In this episode, we talk about building with intention, making bold pivots, what it really takes to lead alone, and how even powerhouse women can feel burnout creeping in and what to do about it. It's honest, empowering, and full of both heart and hustle. Hi, Ceiwen. How are you? Welcome to the show.
I'm so good. Now that I'm speaking to you, I'm fabulous. So, how are you doing, my dear?
I'm good. It's so good to see you again.
Good to see you. It's been a bit, but it's nice to see your beautiful face. I always see you online anyway, so you're never too far from me.
I always see you online too. I follow you for sure. I'm not a creeper.
I treat you. I'm okay to say that.
Yeah, right. I think it's good to like be inspired by other people and want to see what they're up to and learn from them. So I always love when I connect with women like you and I get to learn from you. Hopefully you get to learn a little bit from me, but like that whole networking part of it and in our roles and where we are, I think is really important to have people that you can look up to or just admire too, right?
And collaborate. I've always said that,
Yeah.
like I'm in a business real estate where I don't have other realtors I'm working with. So you can find, allies and partners in other women
Mm.
and men if you feel so inclined. For me, I'm drawn to women. So, you can find other women in different professions and still have that the collaboration and the inspiration and the perspective.
Yeah, I love it. Well, let's get to our episode. I have a couple questions for you.
Okay,
So
fire at will.
let's go. You've built this incredible career at the intersection of real estate, entrepreneurship, and women's empowerment. But at the heart of it all, you're someone who leads with vision, hustle, and a ton of heart. Correct me if I'm wrong. For those meeting you for the first time, how do you describe what you do and what drives you?
Wow. Gosh, you know what drives me is everyone. And I've always said that, like you are my why. And when it comes to real estate, that's it as well. It's not about, my bank account or the car I drive or anything like that. It's about them and finding the right home for them or getting the most for their property and seeing them move from their starter house to their next house to retiring, and you go along with the journey, with them,
Mm-hmm.
from their upgrades to their downsizes. And they are my why. And when it comes to the entrepreneur side of, the Boss Network and what I do in that side of things, is the exact same thing. It's you are my why. It is a business, but it's not the end all be all for me. For what it is, it's the people. And I have had, just in the last couple of weeks, and I don't know what it is, people are just maybe coming out because the weather's nice, but I'm running into a lot of incredible women, and the feedback that I have received, it makes me cry. There was one
Mm.
woman who said she looked at something she journaled. from ages ago, and she saw the transition of her being down and depressed and sad. And then she's like, you know what? I went to the Boss Babe event, and she's like, she rejournaled and she felt that inspiration, and she was able to go back and reflect on that. And that's my why. So that's a long-winded
Yeah.
question, but it's the people.
Well, okay, I understand that, but here's a similar question. What
Okay.
inspired you to start the network? Because you already have a career that keeps you really busy, and then you started
Yes.
this, the Boss Babe VIP, and now it's transformed into something new, which we can talk about. But what made you want to do that?
It was an accident. It was
Okay.
a flat out accident. And it was just me and a girlfriend. And we're like, hey, I know incredible women. You know incredible women. Let's bring them together and have all these incredible women in one room together. And a girlfriend of mine that was there, she flat out said, is this like a thing now? Are you guys starting this? And we're like, I guess so. And we started it. And then the more we started to grow, because we had 19 people in the room at our first one. Our second one, I think we had like 42 at our next
Mm-hmm.
event, and it was slowly growing. And the more we were doing that and getting the feedback, we're like, this is it. It was just, again, it was about the people. But I didn't go out seeking to do this. I guess it found me.
Yeah, I love it. You believe in dreaming ridiculously big. What is a dream that once felt too big but now feels within reach for you?
Well, I'm still dreaming ridiculously big, but first off, I'm an introvert by nature. That's who I
Mm-hmm.
am first off. Like, so being able to be around all these incredible women and creating a safe space for them, that was already ridiculously big for me. But then
Mm-hmm.
as the months went on, I'm very futuristic, so I was already thinking ahead, you know, sidestepping and creating a safe space with the Boss Network solely and starting to rebrand. And there is something that I'm aiming for ridiculously big, and it's going to a bit into the tech field, which I'm so happy I have you, because when I get there, I'm going to need you. I don't want to go too much into it right now, but
Yeah,
I am dreaming ridiculously big with that,
I
and
love it.
I will bet on me any day. So I'm
Yeah.
excited for it, and I hope everybody else does that as well. And it's
Yeah.
okay to
Well,
feel
I've had the
ridiculous.
privilege to be part of one of your events.
Yeah.
And I know we're not talking about that in specific, but I will say this. I've been to a lot of networking events and women speaking events, but there was something unique there. First, I love the location that you selected. And I have noticed that
Yeah.
that's a thing for you. The location where it's done, it's always something very unique. So it wasn't just a room in, four between four walls. There was like a whole
Like a hotel. Yeah.
experience that came with it. Like you've done one, like anyway, we're not going to get into it, but that alone started like the whole like experience. And then just the women that I met, they were curious, they wanted to be there, and they were engaging, and like the networking part of it was really unique because everyone was just like, there was no person like in the corner not talking to anyone or shy. People were engaged, people were excited. You had like
Yes.
a radio host come in and help you, and it was just a unique. Oh, and you had the cheerleaders come and do a show.
Yeah.
Like the whole event was very unique. So now that you're transforming into uh what's it called, sorry, the
The Boss Network.
Boss Network, I'm sure you're gonna have like amazing things. So I'm gonna keep an eye out, and we'll keep an eye out. I'll share everything on my network too, because
Thank
I know
you.
it's gonna be very unique for you, because that's what you do, right?
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And that was the vision when as we started to grow is we wanted to break out of shoving a business card down your
Mm,
throat.
yeah.
Because that's boring to me. I don't like it. I don't like being sold. I don't like sale pitches every time you turn around you see somebody else. So we wanted to create an experience. So that's why we have done events at KF Center for Excellence, the Airport Museum. We've done it at Porsche. We just did it at 50th Parallel. Shout out to my girl Sherry Lee. But you know, it's been the experience of it, and it has really truly brought a relaxed energy. So when people come in, sure they're feeling excited. The DJ is always there, DJ Shadow,
Yeah.
always spinning the tunes. The vibe is going, but everybody's so welcoming. And I'm not saying at all the other events that's not happening. It's just a
Yeah.
different
Vibe.
layout or
The
flow
different
of the
vibe.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
exactly. So there's no right or wrong here. It's just different. And
Yeah.
I just
And
loved it.
yeah, I mean, my favorite part was the Q&A, and I was surprised that we had to stop because there was so much. And I
I
was
know.
like, wow, like people like were really engaged, they were really interested, they wanted to know more. And it wasn't that event where it's like, so what do you do? Well, I do this, and you say the same thing like a million times before you're like,
Yeah.
oh man, I can't do it anymore.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more with you on that. And I actually wanted to mention it to you. There was a gal, I have the worst memory. It
I
was just
do
a couple
too.
days ago. It was just recent too, who told me your talk touched her
Oh wow.
incredibly. And I'm like, I'm going to connect you with Sonia. Like, absolutely, I'm
Yeah.
going to connect you. Oh, I remember who it was. And she actually has some tech questions for you. So I will give
Okay,
you the information after this. But to
for
hear
sure.
that feedback, like that event was done in April. And
Yeah.
to run into somebody the other day and she's like, that was incredible. It's inspired me, connect me with that speaker. Like,
Yeah.
that's everything. And you know, like to touch on that last event, there was something different about it. Like I I'm a pretty tough individual, you know, we go through the process, we host it, we have fun, but that event had me very emotional. And I actually had to step away a couple times and I'm tearing up and I don't know what it was, but when I was sitting on that stage, and every single event we've hosted has been incredible. But
Mm-hmm.
sitting on that stage there, and I was looking around everybody during the Q&A portion, and we're all talking, but it was like we were a family, like our friends. We
Yeah.
all spoke like we knew each other, and I just felt so comfortable, like I was with friends and family. And like I said,
Yeah.
all our events are great, not putting the past ones down, but that one was super special to me. So I'm glad you felt the same way, and I'm glad you were able to bring your sparkle to the stage because it did have an impact.
Yeah, no, it was great. I really enjoyed myself, but I loved meeting all the people. And like you said, like I actually felt like half the people in that room were your family. And you know, you and I don't know each other that well, and I don't think they were, but you just have a way of like how you connect with people, and I think that's what makes the events even better because I did feel like half the people there were like your family.
Oh, that just warms my heart.
So you recently were named Best Entrepreneur Over 40 in Kelowna. What does that recognition mean to you, and how has age shaped your approach to leadership and growth?
So the I play silver for the entrepreneur over 40. It that one, and I got bronze for realtor, but that entrepreneur one actually meant a lot to me. That,
Mm-hmm.
I hate to say it, it meant more to the realtor one because I know I'm a fabulous realtor. I've been in the industry a long time. My clients love me. But the entrepreneur, it's this is new for me to be paving the way and creating a space for these women. And it's to me it just gave me confirmation
Mm-hmm.
that what I am doing matters. It's working. People are seeing it and they're here for it. So that one meant a lot. You know, and as for my age, uh, I'm 41. If I could go back into my 30s, I probably would do a couple things differently because we always get smarter the older we get. But I think it's prime because you know, you're like I said, you're creating a space for these women, but they almost maybe with a bit of age trust you more. You have more experience, you have more to fall back on. But I just feel
Yeah.
like I have it together, and I have a platform that I'm creating a safe place for big voices, for vulnerability, for everything to come together. And it just comes down with experience. And I don't think I would be able to do this back when I was 32. I wish I could have because think of where we'd be today, but I
Yeah.
just don't think I could have.
And I want to add to your event a little bit. It is a woman's network, which I love. But I will say this, there was a couple of gentlemen there that came to talk to me, and I had such interesting conversations with them. And it was so nice to see that there was like these men there accompanying their partners or their wives, and they were engaged as well. And I love to see that. That was amazing.
You know, that was definitely a highlight for me. So Boss Bay VIP was always just women only. And it was only really the last two events where I'm like, let's just open it up to men and just see what
Hmm.
happens. We didn't market towards them, but we opened it up. The last event, I did market. I didn't market. I just did like a shout out saying like, if your
Yeah.
husband, your brother, your dad or whatever aligns with our values, they're more than welcome. They are definitely more than welcome. But with the Boss Network, I'm still going to be marketing towards women,
Hmm.
but the door is wide open for men to walk right through and sit with us. If they have that energy, if they align with us and they want to come in that room with all us strong, beautiful souls, by all means, because if they can walk away with something, that's great. And what you're going to see is you're going to see the husbands, you're going to see the sons. We had a couple of them
Yeah.
at the last event, and I love that. I'm here for it 100%. And I always say every time I'm on the stage, like we love our men. I'm standing on the stage. My husband built for us women.
Yes, that's right.
Like
I remember.
he's very much a part
Literally,
of,
physically, he built it.
he built it
I
in our
saw
living
him.
room.
No, I even assemble it. He's the one doing it.
He does. Yeah, no, he does every time. Bless
Uh,
him.
so you have this like a really amazing and successful real estate career. You now have the Boss Network, which is, a pivot from something else you were working on, and you're kind of taking the Boss Network on your own. Like you're leading it, right? How do you juggle everything?
Hmm. Well, maybe they'll ask me next year and see if I've hired somebody or if I've taken on help. To be honest, it's like I planned the last event. That was solely myself, and that came together beautifully. And when things are
Mm-hmm.
easy, they're meant to be. I'm not saying everything is going to be easy, but right now I'm just doing one thing at a time and I'm already
Mm-hmm.
gearing up for the next event. But at the same time, I'm launching the Boss Network and I'm not just doing events. I'm creating different type of platforms, which I can't wait to get into with them. I'm so excited. But it's it's going to be a little challenging just to get it off the ground. But I think once I'm
Mm-hmm.
off the ground, it'll be a little bit easier. I don't have a team, it's solely myself. However, I have had right now probably seen it half a dozen women that I've met just through the network come up to me and say, look, I know you're by yourself now. You need anything, you lean on me, I'm here. I've had text messages, I've had emails, and one day I even got choked up because I had two in one day of them just volunteering themselves for any future events or any
Wow.
future behind the scenes. And that is humbling because yes, I am an entrepreneur and I'm creating a platform and I'm paving the way. I'm trying to lead everybody in one direction here and it's exciting. But I need help too sometimes. And I am an
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneur. I'm just like everybody else that comes to the event. I would have bought tickets to my event. So it's humbling and I know I'm going to get through it because I have the support of this incredible and beautiful community here in the Okanagan.
Yeah. What do you do when you start feeling overwhelmed or like you're taking on too much?
Checklist. So there was a couple days ago that I was starting to feel a little overwhelmed just because work's so busy,
Mm-hmm.
launching the Boss Network, and I have a social life as well, as we all
Yeah.
should. So, and downtime, you got to schedule in downtime as well. So there was a point where I'm like, oh my gosh, I felt my like heart flutter. I'm like, what is happening? I grabbed out good old notebook, pen and paper and started jotting every single thing down. So if anybody's starting to feel overwhelmed, jump on your computer, jump in your journal or whatever it is, your notepad, and just write all your to-dos down. And then all of a sudden it's not overwhelming. You can say, okay, I can do that Monday, I can do this Tuesday, I can do this today. This is already done. And
Yeah.
that's how I manage it.
Yeah. And I think like when I see you in on social media and when we chat, like it feels like you have it all together all the time. right? So I'm looking at you and I'm like, what do you mean you're overwhelmed and you have all this stuff going on and you need a moment? Like we don't think about that until like you're actually there, right? And I think that happens even to like us. It's like, oh, I can take
Yeah.
on the world until you can't.
Well, back in like the early 2000s, there was that saying like you're so much cooler online, right? Like it's this image that we
It's true.
portray that we have together, right? And they're all beautiful photos and videos of us together. But what happens in between that gets you from that photo to the next photo? There's some down days. There's some you know some sad moments, that life
Hmm.
happens, so there's nobody's got it all together. So if anybody's out there and they're
Yeah.
thinking that, how does she do it because I can't, I'm crying tonight, well, guess what, I probably did the same thing you know
Yeah. No, it's true. And I think that's really good advice. Um,
hmm
you've created all these, different spaces for women to feel seen, celebrated, and challenged to grow. What's the key to cultivating real community in a world full of surface level networking?
Oh, yeah, that's like, and again, that's why we created this, was to be authentic. I try to give as much as I can to them, to
Okay.
everybody who reaches out, every personal message. Like I said, it's me running Instagram, and Boss Baby IP never had an Instagram manager. That was Raquel or myself doing it, but it is about giving as much as of yourself to the community. And if somebody wants to ask you a question, take the time to answer it. Read all the messages, read the emails, answer the phone. Like I said, I've even got a couple phone
Mm,
calls. And when you're there in person, do as much as you can to have that personal meeting. And I've met some incredible women just by doing that. And like I said, the
mm,
feedback I get keeps refueling the tank. So it's not like I'm running
yeah.
empty. They give me back just as much as I give them.
I love it. Launching something bold often comes with resistance, internal or external. What fears or challenges did you face in building the next chapter, and how did you push through?
I'm still going through them.
Yeah.
There's a lot of it's brand new. I'm doing it solely on my own. It's an unknown entity, and this is also why entrepreneur over 40 came into play, because again, that gave me that recognition and that reminder of, girl, you got this. People believe in you. So that reminded me, because
Hmm.
I had major self-doubt probably back at the very beginning of June, right before I launched it. I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? How am I doing this? It's boring. It's this, it's that. But I'm at the point now where I can't even quit because I feel like I'd be letting everybody down. But I'm going through it. I'm just going through all the emotions. What if nobody comes? What if
Yeah. That would be like my biggest fear. How do you deal with that?
I will probably it's like clockwork. We could sell out, I swear. And it's days before, and I always have the same thing. I have nightmares that nobody shows up. My speaker doesn't show up. The venue didn't have the right date. It is so ridiculous. I'm human like everybody else. We go through the exact same emotions. But it's like I said, at the end of the day, I'm going through all the fears right now, and I hope everybody sees how much I've shown up for them and I continue to show up for them, and they will show up for me.
Yeah. One of the things I always like to have with every guest that I bring on is, entrepreneurship is about the hustle and wanting to be successful and building your baby, but things don't always go according to plan. So, has there been a moment where I call it you fucked up, and sometimes it's just you messed up or you failed? And have you had a moment like that, and how did you overcome
Well, my first email I screwed up.
it?
Screwed up my very first, the Boss Network email. And I did every single email of Boss Baby VIP, and there was never a mistake. The An address to go get to support a great company in town, Body Bar Kelowna. Here's the address. You go here, use a promo code, support her. And I sent her to another freaking sent her to another salon or something like that, or another address, whatever it was. I don't even know.
Yeah.
And I was mortified because I felt like I let her down. Actually, I felt like I flat out failed her.
Right.
And I was just completely embarrassed. And I'm like, how can I even let that, like, I've done that already. How many other
Yeah.
missteps? So, you just
So
embrace it and
did
it happened. We're human.
did self-doubt all of a sudden kick in and did you start questioning whether you should even do this?
Started to question my workload because I'm like,
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
never done that mistake. How could I have? And I go to her salon. I know what road it's
Yeah.
on, so I can't even believe I did that. So that was a really big mistake,
Yeah.
my very first right out of the jump. But you know what? It is what
We're
it
all
is. I'm
human.
human.
Yeah, we all make mistakes and that just goes to show like we're not perfect people. Something is going to go astray or go wrong that you didn't plan for, but it's really how you deal with it, right? And can you keep going and accept that? And listen, at the
Yeah.
end of the day, I think you've built a network as well that if people notice that mistake, I didn't, I got the email, but if people noticed it, they would be like, it's okay, it's not a big deal. Like just,
Absolutely. And even the owner, my gal Christelle there, she kind of just laughed it off and was like, "Girl, no." And I was like, "Okay, whoops." But she just like she wasn't even upset because that's it is what it is. I do want to jump on a word you said though that has a lot of meaning to me. You used the word pivot a couple times already today.
mm-hmm,
And that's a word that I think I'm gonna carry throughout my entire life. And I've only really understood it this past year. There's been a lot of change, there's been a lot of letting go,
mm,
and a lot of pivoting, and a lot of things that don't go as planned, where I'm like, okay, where am I going to go now? And if I could like just give advice to anybody, when you hit that wall or when you hit that, why did this fail or why isn't this working? Whatever it is, it's okay. It's meant to not work, to not keep going in that direction. Just don't stop, just pivot because it has led me to where I am and I don't know where I'm going to end up, but I can tell you that that is a very impactful word that I think we
yeah.
all need to embrace. Never ever quit, never stop, just pivot.
Yeah. And I do love that because I use the word pivot a lot because I've had to pivot not just in work and business, but also in life. I went through a divorce.
Absolutely.
To me, that's a pivot. I start
Yep.
over again, do something completely new. So I love what you just said
Absolutely.
because it's true. We are constantly pivoting in work and in life, right?
Yeah.
And if you're
Just don't
not
stop.
open to a pivot, I feel like that's when you really get stuck in your ways, in your routine, and doing the same thing over and over again. You have to be open to accepting those things and essentially it's change, right?
I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't agree
So
with you
we're
more on that.
coming up to the end. I mean, time went by fast when you're having fun, but let's before we wrap up, let's go through a couple more questions.
Okay.
You've worn many hats, so entrepreneur, realtor, writer, mentor. What part of your work today feels most aligned with your purpose? I'm curious
Ooh,
to
you
know
asked
this
some
one.
good questions. Um, it's the people. So I
Yeah.
know I'm kind of getting off easy by answering that, but when it comes to real estate, like real estate is my first love. There's no doubt
Mm,
about that. You have to love what you do to be great at it. And that is my first love. So I've been in the industry 19 years in one shape or form, and I wouldn't have it any other way. And when it comes to the Boss Network, mentoring or anything like that, it's the people. You are my why.
yeah. And why is mentoring important for you?
It gave me fulfillment that I didn't know. Like
Oh,
there was something I can't say that was lacking or empty or anything like that. But when I started to get it back, and it made my heart full, and that's all I can say.
yeah.
And I didn't realize that that was something that could have that much impact. So
Mm. I
yeah,
love that. I think I just want to add to that. I love what you just said because I think that like there comes a time in our careers when you've been doing something for so long that you can keep doing it, but it's time to like give
yeah,
back in some way, shape, or form. And when you do that, there's something that happens internally that is like you feel a sense of fulfillment and happiness that comes like from a completely different place. It doesn't come
yeah,
from success, it comes from just genuinely giving back. And I think that's it's not a weird feeling. It's just a weird sensation that I never experienced before I started doing it. And I'm like, it's like you really love doing this. This is so much fun. I like it. I want to do more of it, right?
See, isn't that incredible? Like, because you're very successful. You've gone through like a lot of pivots in your life, personally and professionally. And you are at a point now where you're like, okay, I can give back now, and I can't wait for that next chapter of yours, and hearing more about it because you've done you have information, you have the knowledge, you have the support you can offer somebody who is not there yet. And I love
Hmm.
that you can do it and I can do it. And I hope everybody else out there as well. If you're ever at a point where you're like, hey, I'm a rock star, take a look around and look over to the women behind you, beside you, whatever the case is, or the man. And you've paved the way for them, and lean down and pull them up with
Yeah.
you because there's room for all of us at the top. And that feeling of helping them rise, like you say, it's such a sensation that you've never felt before
It's a
until you've
high.
done it. It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Can't stop
And
now.
yeah, no. And it's so funny you're saying that. And I'm thinking, I had a conversation with somebody the other day, and they were like, oh, like you're a woman in tech. It's a very male dominated space. So, like what can be done in tech for, more women to be at the table? And I was like, well, it starts with me. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, why am I going to sit around and wait for men to make room at the table for women, which they can? I'm like, why can't I
Yeah.
start by mentoring a young girl who wishes to get to that point one day? Or why can't I do that by making sure that I'm hiring women as well and that I have that equal number of people in my company? Like it starts with you. It starts, we have to do the work if we want to lift
Yeah.
up other women and help other women in these spaces, no matter what they are, whether it's real estate or
Yeah.
tech or now, like it's up to us to do the work. And that's why I loved your whole um concept of what you're doing, because like to me that's at the forefront of what you're doing essentially. Like you're like, I'm a woman, I'm going to support other women and I'm going to help them and I'm going to create a
Yeah.
safe space for them, right? And I think like there's nothing better that you can do, and that's why you're so happy all the time when I talk to you.
Well, it's easy to be happy when you have that fulfillment. And but hey, we are all human. We all go through the
Yeah.
emotions. But it's yeah. I'm so happy to hear about your next chapter too, and your mentoring and all that. So I'm just looking forward to watching you thrive as well. And I do
Oh.
openly admit I stalk you on Instagram.
It's okay, I stalk you too. The thing with social media is like, I wish I had more time, but I'm also like a little shy. So I'm like, oh, like there's all these things that I want to do. And then I never do it because I'm like, I don't really want to put myself out there. But I know it's something that I'm working on. Like I'm a big believer in like continuous learning and improving and making
Yeah.
yourself better. So those are that's one of the things I'm currently working on, to be a little bit more brave to put myself out there.
I love that. So the Boss Network's tagline that I'm just full on embracing is I'm calling myself a comfort zone disruptor.
Love
So
it.
I want people to just get uncomfortable, and like it is such a scary feeling, but it's exciting when you start seeing yourself blossom and you can reflect about where you were
Hmm.
and where you are today. Because like I said, I was a full blown, still am introvert. Like getting and talking out to women I don't know, that is uncomfortable for me. But you work on it, you do it. So I want to start seeing more of you putting yourself out there on social media. I'm gonna hold you to it.
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try. Okay, one last question for you.
Okay.
For women listening today who feel stuck, small, or disconnected from their vision, what's the first bold step they can take to regain their power?
Mm. And that's a great question because if you aren't around a supportive circle, it can feel really alone. It's easy for
Yeah.
I can answer that for the girls that have come into the Boss Baby VIP or the Boss Network, but regroup, just close the door, like don't talk to anybody, just close the door, get your pen and paper out, write down your thoughts, regroup, write down missteps, embrace them, because you
Mm,
do not get to where you are if you don't have any missteps. So embrace them and set a goal, an achievable goal. It could be so small, but just set it. And if you have the ability to go to one of these events, in the community, and there's a lot of these type of events across Canada, border to border, down in the
mm-hmm.
States, we're everywhere. Get uncomfortable and go there. Go there alone and make a goal to speak to one person. And that little shred of energy or confidence or perspective that you're going to get is going to take you miles ahead. So it all starts with you. Just start small. Just open up that book, that pen and paper, write down missteps, write down your achievements, and set achievable goals.
Yeah. And for our listeners, you are located in beautiful Kelowna, Canada, Vancouver, no, BC, BC. And so if anybody is out in that area, actually the other day when I announced something that I'm working on, I had someone reach out to me from Kelowna and they're like, "Oh, are you going to be out here?" And I'm like, "No, we're in Toronto, but I know someone out there who does stuff." So I sent her your way. Hopefully she'll go to one of your events, but she just reached
I
out to
love
me on
that.
social media and I thought it was kind of funny. I'm like, "Oh, I was just there. That's weird."
That's incredible. Maybe Kelowna's
Yeah.
calling you to move here. I know a
I
good realtor
know,
that'll find a
right? Oh, I
place.
had a hard time leaving, girl. I was like, oh my gosh. Well, I was born in a little island in Portugal, right? And we were always surrounded by water. So when I got to
Yeah.
Kelowna, that's what I was amazed by, that there's always, like, anywhere I went, I could see the water.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I felt like I was in Portugal a little bit. It's beautiful.
I love that. We're very blessed to
Beautiful.
live where we are in the Okanagan. And yeah, if anybody's looking for any type of support as an entrepreneur or even as a 9 to 5er, I want to actually do a quick shout out to that. Any 9 to 5ers out there, anybody who's working a full-time job but has a little idea, doesn't know how to make
Mm-hmm.
that one step, honest to goodness, reach out to me and or reach out to Sonia. I'm sure Sonia will connect
Yeah.
us. And I'm here to support you. And so is
Mm,
the community of the Boss Network. There's hundreds of women in that network that are here just to help each other. Let's all
yeah.
thrive
And
together.
yeah, and I can speak to that. That is very true. I've been there and experienced it. Well, Gaiwan, thank you so much for joining me today. It was such a lovely chat. It's always so good to see you. And I always like to, thank my guests who are number one, open to having a candid conversation
Yeah.
and answering my questions when I haven't sent them to you and you haven't prepared.
No.
So it's on the spot. And being vulnerable. It's so hard to like sometimes put yourself out there and be authentic because you never know how other people are going to receive it. So it's a little bit of a risk. So I want to thank you for being open to it and doing it. Yeah.
Well,
Thank you so
thank you
much.
so much for helping
You-
me come out of my
yeah.
shell.
Yeah, for sure. And anything that you want to leave the audience with before we like wrap it up.
Yes. Dream big, dream ridiculously big. I mean, ridiculously. And yeah, work towards that. Do it.
Love it. Thank you so much.
Thanks, babe.
I want to thank Kaywin for joining me today and bringing such warmth, candor, and passion to our conversation. What stood out most is how deeply she leads from her why. From selling homes to building community, Kaywin is proof that purpose and profit can go hand in hand. Her journey from realtor to founder, from boss babe VIP to boss network is full of bold pivots, lessons in resilience, and a reminder that you don't have to do it all alone, especially when you build with heart. One of my favorite takeaways: never quit, just pivot. It's a mantra every founder can hold on to, especially in moments of doubt.